Всем привет, меня зовут София, и я американка. Познакомьтесь, пожалуйста, это моя сестра Александра. Этот разговор будет по-английски, субтитры будут внизу. И да, познакомьтесь. Tell us about yourself.
I run a martial arts studio with my husband in the evenings. We are currently doing the Bujinkan.
And you met your husband at the dojo.
We met at a dojo back when I was in high school originally. I was 15, he was 21, so it was definitely no-go.
We don't need to go into specifics.
Okay. But he waited and waited until we were legally able to date without an issue. I thought he was super cool the whole time. He was older than me, and I just thought, oh, he goes to another high school somewhere. Nope.
A grown man.
Yep. So we waited.
Good. What is your biggest dream, and have you already, or do you think you will, achieve it?
My biggest dream currently is to move back to Japan, but I used to have an even bigger dream, which was to meet a panda bear. I did that immediately after college. I got the chance to go teach in China. In between some of the language camps, there was free time, and they just said, go where you please. And everyone else said, we're going to Beijing because it's the capital and we are culturally obligated to visit it once in our lives. And I said, later, y'all, I'm gonna see pandas, which was in the completely opposite direction. And that showed me a lot of the countryside that they didn't get to see. I have visited but not lived, like made residence in Canada, Mexico. For Americans, that's not very fascinating. France, England, Greece, Italy, and if you want to count China, because it was a very short stay. I have set up residence in Japan. Twice in college, I was in Tokyo, and that was just about half a year because things happened. And
the
then
tsunami.
The other time was down in the southern western area called Mie. That was for 2 years, just teaching.
And where did you enjoy the most?
I'd say Japan because I feel more equipped there. So I feel like I can get the things that nobody else can and that aren't in the guidebooks. My area was known for different shellfish. And the one that they were the most famous for that like only they had was something in English called the turban shell. And another one called the abalone. Abalone? I've only said it in Japanese. He's got little holes all on the bottom. And on the reverse side, he's iridescent.
Ooh.
And I have him
You didn't put the holes there yourself?
No, those are like that for breathing.
Oh, right.
And such. And the largest one I have is this big, so
Yeah.
easily the size of my palm. And very iridescent.
Iridescent is a nice word.
And in Japanese, this is called an awabi.
Awabi.
Awabi. All of the critter is in this part, and it suctions itself like, on the underside of rocks. So women actually, I'm not saying men can't, but traditionally, women have dove into the coastal areas off the prefecture I was living in, and they take a little crowbar and they pry off the awabi from underneath things. The vice principal at my school heard that I was interested in it and saw me on TV because I was interviewed at the ceremonial first dive, and they said, oh, you're a foreigner, what do you think of the diving? And I'm like, it looks really cool, I'd love to try it. Well, he saw that. His mom is a diver. You have to be contracted with a fishing company.
She's a professional.
Yeah, they're all professionals.
Oh, yeah.
So she asked her company if I was allowed to join her on the dive, really insisting that anything I caught would also go to the company. They were fine with it. I got suited up. Those little off the beaten path kind of things I can do in Japan rather than, let's say, if I were told that I could go to France. Because, yeah, I'm not going to talk to anybody until I learn French, and that's going to take a while. Or if I do speak to them, they'll hear my accent, and they'll like, oh, you should go to that restaurant. They have pictures on their menu.
What do you think of our family?
Oh.
Because I've made some jabs at mom and dad.
Yes.
Legitimate?
Yeah.
Warranted.
Yes. These poor people. They've had to make their own entertainment. They also made us.
Ew.
So we're also their entertainment.
So anything weird that I have said or will say in the future about them, it's not an exaggeration.
No, it happened. I was there.
Yeah. And it's not that we don't love them. Do we love them?
We love them.
We do.
So much.
And we tell them so. How has it been being sisters?
I think it always worked out.
Yeah, I never disowned her.
Not yet. I would definitely have to say that I'm different around you.
Oh.
So I mind my P's and Q's a lot more outside of us.
Oh, okay.
And I'm much more egalitarian in other relationships. This one will say, I'm all bundled up and cozy on the couch, but I want water. And not saying, Alex, get me water. I will just pop up and say, I can get that for you. In other friendships and relationships, I would just say, is that so? Is that what you want? Huh. That's nice.
One problem that we run into, it's not like an issue, but people don't believe that we're sisters, and I get it. But the thing that's the same about us, and I'm not trying to be like whimsically romantic, is our eyes are the same. This is what we're doing. So they're kind of the same shape, definitely the same color. We could be creepy and pull the lens in, but I won't. But other ways that we're different is, aside from the fact that I studied Russian and she focused mainly on Japanese, our personalities are vastly, like the way that we approach the world, different. One of my questions, do you think our languages match our personalities, or did our personalities morph the deeper we got into our respective cultures?
Ooh. I think, first of all, yes.
Yes.
Yes, and yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes to both.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think it was so much as we delved deeper into our languages as it was we spent time apart. So when we were younger kiddos and we were living in all the places, there was nobody else we had as a constant friend except for each other. So yeah, from the day she was born to me going away to college, we were constantly together. So it was a lot more growing up with each other, and I think we mirrored different aspects of ourselves more at that time. But then when we had to grow apart and really solidify, Sophia isn't here for me anymore, so I can't rely on her to start up conversations with people. I have to find some aspect of me as a talking point or find my bravery and go up to strangers.
Fun fact, in the United States, as you're ending your years in high school, so around junior, senior year of high school, you start getting junk mail, but advertisements from universities in your immediate area and in some states away that encourage you to apply to their university. And when my sister started getting those letters, I would go out and check the mail, and I would hide them from her in my bedroom for months. And she was getting concerned because everyone else was getting these letters, but she wasn't, and she thought the universities didn't want her, and rejection before she even applied. And then I finally, after it was very visible how upset she was getting, and my mother was very confused. She's like, I don't know what's happening. She's trying to comfort her daughter, but she doesn't have a clue. Then I came forward. It is illegal to tamper with the mail, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about that. I loved her so much. I knew this would happen.
So I think when we are together again, we fall back into those old patterns.
Yeah. But then it is obvious when we're in public again how we've both become quite different. How do you feel now that we've been living apart for so long? How has our relationship changed?
It doesn't matter so much. The internet.
The internet.
The internet. I can keep tabs on what you're publicly displaying. The internet. You can privately message me in any location.
Most locations.
We can Skype. We can send texts through WhatsApp, and just that immediate connection is really good. I can text right now, are you safe? And you can say, yeah, I'm having pizza.
I like that that's her sample, is that whether or not I'm safe.
That was a big thing for me, especially after the tsunami and the earthquake and the nuclear fusion reactor issue. But then, if I've missed anything, so let's say that you had a week where a hilarious story happened, and you didn't share that with me. I don't feel like I've missed out the next time I get to see you and you forget to tell me about it.
Yeah.
Because instead of seeing that funny situation or being there when the funny situation happened, I get to see you and the person you are after said situation.
Because a question I get a lot, not just from, maybe not so much from my viewers, but just people in general, is well, how do you handle living so far away from your family? Don't you miss them? And it's a
Coping
whole thing.
mechanisms.
Coping mechanisms. And we're used to it by now.
Yeah.
Yeah, something that annoys my friends, I guess a coping mechanism is if I'm going to leave and I'm going to be gone for forever probably, I don't say goodbye. So when I was telling you guys to wish me luck because I was going to say goodbye to my friends, that was a big deal because I never say goodbye to anyone. And I've left a lot of people. I just kind of slip away and act like I'm going to see them later, and then I disappear. And that way I feel like it's not too brusque. One, because you're not making a big deal. I feel like the less attention paid to it, the less damage is done. Mm-hmm. And then the less people have it on their radar until maybe a couple weeks go by and like they ask their friend, do you remember that girl with like the curly hair? Have you seen her around? What happened to her? I don't know. And then they move on. That was my deal for a long time, and I want to continue it being my deal. That's what I did at work. I quit my job, but quietly, and I only told a few people.
Something similar to that. So in Japanese, everyone knows the classic way to say goodbye, which is sayonara. But in America, we say sayonara.
Yeah, we ruined it.
And sayonara has a very final, like, this is the last time we will see each other feeling to it. So this is truly the end. There will never be another meeting. Kind of a feel to it. Some people use it a little bit more flippantly. Even in English, I prefer to say something like, see you later, or see you next time I'm in town, rather than goodbye.
What did you know about Russia before we started the language academy?
I knew that Mom studied it.
Mom studied it.
I knew that it had a lot of
Yeah, can
sounds
you
to it.
tell, what does Russian sound like to you? Perfect. Nailed it.
Yep, I knew that it was typically said very heavily. Until you started introducing me to Russian media, I guess I didn't even think that like a child would have a child's voice when speaking Russian. I just thought they came out sounding like a very old gentleman who is, solemn and giving you his wisdom. Like, that's what I thought kids sounded like.
No.
Because that's all I've heard. It was older men speaking Russian.
I love when children speak Russian. It's the cutest thing of my life.
Пожалуйста.
Пожалуйста, я тоже домой хочу. It's from a thing. You should know it. Непослушный котенок. What did you know about Russian culture?
Russian, I knew just what Mom had strewn out. I knew very snowy.
Snowy.
Lots of snow. So lots of snow-related things like sleds and mufflers and coats, etc. Another Russian aspect that I knew of was somewhat food. Once again, snowy. So I knew that lots of warm, heavy, comfort-style food happened in Russia along with vodka.
Along with vodka.
I didn't know what vodka was back then because I was
A child.
unable to drink, but I knew it was a thing that they had, and it made people happy.
So now that you know, post-language academy, what has your exposure to Russia/Russian been, both in our home
Yeah?
and abroad?
Okay. Russian TV dramas are dramatic. I would expect nothing less, but everyone's beautiful,
Oh, yeah.
and their apartments are gorgeous. Unless they're the character that's supposed to be haphazard, in which case their apartment is haphazard.
What
But
have you seen?
There was one, like, a redhead girl on the front cover.
Oh, the blind girl?
I don't know if she was blind or not.
Well, she was blind, and
Oh.
then she regained her sight, and then she lost it again.
Oh!
Ryzha, that's what she's talking about.
I've also been exposed more to Russia in Japan because it's so close. And when I was living in the place that has all of the shellfish, there were two Russians in particular, Maxim and Sophia. Very tall, very beautiful, very intelligent. It wasn't fair. But through them, I learned because they were so outgoing and they were always inviting us over. Maxime and Sophia were helping a little Japanese guy who lived in a super mountainous region of Japan famous for skiing. They were helping him build a dacha.
A dacha?
Yes.
Did they include a banya?
That's the whole thing. They were having a hard time getting the stove over because that's the biggest, most heavy, expensive part.
Oh.
So Maxime was much closer to this guy and was helping him with all of the logistics, but they were really stuck on the stove.
That's a tough one.
Good luck, guys.
Good luck. What are things that the Japanese have adopted from Russians?
Good question.
Thank you.
My favorite thing that they've adopted from Russians recently has been cheparashka. The little, I'm not a dog, I'm not a bear, I'm not a monkey character is so adorable. They don't care what he is either. He doesn't know what he is. They don't care what he is. He's just cute. So the stop animation that he was originally seen in Russia, they have that, and they've translated that. And they have freaked out over him ever since. They've made toys of all different varieties. They've put his face on anything that they can. They have periodic museum exhibits all about cheparashka. And they've since made a little Japanese anime. Like, in Japan, they drew this anime. They wrote the stories. I don't know if they contacted anyone in Russia for the rights to this, but they wrote it specifically for them. So it's not like, oh, this was originally a Russian thing, let's just translate it. No.
They've taken cheparashka to a different
I love him so much. The Japanese idea for beauty, it usually leans towards very young, very pale, very thin, and guess who has that in spades?
Russians!
I'll see Russians everywhere because you're in all of our advertisings, you're on the billboards, you're just looming over people trying to get them to buy goods, and you're just looking like elves in your
ageless, glowing skin.
Oh goodness.
Oh, shoot
Not
me.
fair.
What are the Russian words that you know?
Things like хорошо, пятачок, спасибо, пока, а ты меня любишь,
Ага.
а ты со мной будешь.
Ага. Так будем вместе, так будем и рядом с тобою всегда.
Чай не хочешь?
Sure they do.
Дождь. Один,
Okay. Well, we're
Два.
counting. Yeah?
три,
Ага.
четыре,
4.
heist,
Пять.
пять. Oh, no,
That's it?
no, because now I'm unconfident.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Привет. Ну что ж, ёжик.
Do you have any questions for Russians?
I do. What do the Russians think about the Japanese? Would you be able to tell them apart from, let's say, any other Asian? Or is it just like, oh, you know, Asia?
If you were to visit Russia,
Yep.
one, would you, if given the opportunity?
Not alone.
With me?
Yeah, I'd go with you.
Okay. If you were in Russia, what's something that you would want to see/do?
I'd like to see something that is traditional but still done frequently. You sent me a video of a very nice gentleman who was showing what a bathhouse in Russia is like. It's something that's very, very traditional, but they're still open, they're still in business. If there was something like, I don't know, a farm where like they still do it the old way.
You just like history carrying over.
I do. The Japanese are all about tradition.
At the end of my shows,
Yep.
as you know, because you watch them all, right?
Not all of them. But I have it
My
planned.
friends and my family, no one watches my shows.
I've watched the first half.
There's not even that many. And they're short.
The problem is, unlike other things that I can just put on YouTube and do something else, I have to watch your videos because I need to read the subtitles.
Excuses. At the end of my videos, I have a sign-off, and it is «Ну всё, спасибо и до встречи», and then I wink. «Ну всё,
Ну всё.
спасибо
Спасибо.
и до встречи».
И до встречи. До встречи.
До встречи.
До встречи. До встречи.
«Ну всё, спасибо и до встречи». Say it in Japanese.
以上です。見てくれてありがとうございます。またね。
My contribution.
The itty bittiest one is this big.
You can bring it over.
It's his. Oh no. And here we get wind.
Yes, I hope the sound comes.
Shangmao. Pandas.
This is a phrase that my sister taught me.
Do it.
It is the only introduction to myself that I know how to do. And if you speak Japanese, I'm sorry. Ohio! Watashi wa chisai hashi desu yo. Which means, hello. I am a small pair of chopsticks.
You technically didn't say pear.
Oh!
So you just say, hello, I am small chopsticks.
Hello.
For your information.
I am small chopsticks. It gets about the kind of response you would expect. because best believe I've used it. Yeah.
Oh, it's so fluff.
Намаке моно. Скажи привет. Намаке. Скажи привет. Nope. Это наша собака Намаке Моно. Это тоже японское имя. What does Намаке Моно mean?
Slothful or slacker?
Slothful or slacker. So, super cute.